Hello, my name is Kristen Link. I will be giving my presentation on the Iranian nuclear program and how it relates to U.S. policy, specifically the fact that Iran is allegedly seeking a nuclear weapon. Now, this is very current and relevant considering the fact that there's currently a framework agreement that the P5+1 are discussing with Iran. Now, the P5+1 are Germany, UK, France, Russia, China, and the US. So they're working currently on an agreement by June 30th that will, in exchange for lessened economic sanctions on Iran will give them greater international access to information on their nuclear facilities, and they'll decrease the amount of centrifuges they have, as well as just general more access to information about their plants. So the goal of this for U.S. foreign policy and for U.S. actors is basically, if you have greater knowledge, you might be able to prevent nuclear weapons a little better. Now, this has been an important issue to the Obama administration's foreign policy. It has been an issue for quite some time, though. The issue really came to head at 2002-2003 when it was found out that Iran had nuclear facilities people didn't know about. And then this culminated with a lot of tension and the international community starting to raise questions about if Iran was following IAEA negotiations and the Non-Proliferation Treaty. However, the Iranian nuclear program has been a thing since the 1950s when regionally the US was helping them develop their nuclear program. But of course things have changed today, especially with the Iranian Revolution, and so the climate is very different now. For this policy issue, there's kind of three different ways it boils down to for the US to try to mitigate the chance of Iran getting nuclear weapons. One option is the route they're going with currently, which is to make an agreement with Iran, and this agreement would say that they would not have nuclear weapons in exchange for lessened sanctions like the agreement is. And then another option is sanctions. We currently have a lot of sanctions on Iran, and so we're pursuing a different route. Sanctions can be helpful because they put internal pressure on a country. However, they also have the effect of occasionally making the regime actually have more control after the sanctions and turning populations against the country that presses sanctions on them. Another option, which is not popular but definitely has been discussed in the past, and a few representatives still champion this idea, is a military force against Iran to limit their nuclear program. This could include something like airstrikes, but even potentially boots on the ground. Airstrikes are more likely. So this is, as I said, not popular, but it is an option that would decrease their nuclear capability if we attacked their facilities. However, it's unlikely that we'd completely destroy their program because we don't know everything about their program. So because of this, it would also increase tension with Iran that could just lead to escalation. And this is something that Israel and Saudi Arabia should certainly be concerned about, especially considering they have the most at stake in the international community, besides possibly the US. So Iran, Israel, and Iran and Saudi Arabia don't have good relations. Iran in the past had said they want to eliminate Israel, and so of course Israel is threatened by that, and Saudi Arabia also does not have good relations. Now, throwing in nuclear weapons in Iran's corner for that would upset the balance of power that's currently there and increase their worries about security. This could turn into an arms race. It would increase tensions, and just generally it would destabilize an already unstable region. So that's not necessarily the best way, but Israel and Saudi Arabia actually don't support the current P5+1 agreement. They don't think it's hard enough on Iran, and this is also an idea that some domestic forces and congressmen have brought up as well. They worry that the agreement is just simply not harsh enough on Iran and won't prevent them from getting nuclear weapons. But ultimately, my policy suggestion is that the Obama administration continue with an agreement because negotiation is always important, and I feel like this has the best opportunity for success. All right, and that's my presentation.